Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, February 13th. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Calling the roll for the Monday, February 13, 2023 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:04 a.m. We have Councilwoman Meredith Turner,
Here.
Councilman Dale Miller,
Here.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.,
Here.
Melanie Say serving as an alternate for Mike Dever, Chris Renee, County Executive, Katie Gallagher serving as an alternate,
Here.
Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer, serving as chairman.
Here.
We have Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, great. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, let's move to our first item.
First item, BC 2023-78, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in award recommendation to Northern Flooring Specialists Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $1,866.39 for purchase of Shaw carpet tiles and related flooring materials for replacement of the carpeting and central booking located at the Justice Center, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Matt Reimer with the Department of Public Works. This item is for a small amount of carpet material purchase to go and be installed by county carpenters in the third floor central booking stakeholder area. As many of you familiar with the project may know, that third floor area was shifted around and sheriff's functions relocated to make room for all the stakeholders. This is one of the final pieces of the scope of work up on that floor. It's listed as an RFP exemption because although the vast majority of the items on the procurement are state term contract, there are some adhesives and vinyl base that are not on the state term contract. I think the percentage is 86% that we have listed on there as state term for this particular purchase. Happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Matt. Are there questions on the item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item's approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-79, Department of Development recommended to amend board approval number BC 2022-687 dated November 14, 2022, which approved an affordable federal home loan in the amount of $450,000 to Solon Community Living or its designees for the Solon Community Living Affordable Housing Project located at 35340 Aurora Road in the city of Solon, to change the total number of affordable newly constructed units from 10 to 6.
Good morning, Sarah Parks Jackson with the Department of Development. When this body approved this matter originally, we were providing units, and still are, for those who have developmental and intellectual disabilities, but the units were going to be to house them. That was done in 2020. Between 2020 and now, the project has experienced some cost rises, as other construction projects have. They also looked at what they were doing and what they wanted to do for those persons who had the developmental disabilities, and they have caregivers, and the caregivers make somewhere between $12 and $15 an hour. So now we're going to provide those affordable units to the caregivers, thus decreasing their transportation length and cost for them to get to the site to provide care for the folks who live there. And we still get the 4 home units, and those are the units that are specified with our dollars, even though the affordable units are going to 6. The project is now 20 units. Part of that is the way that it is structured. They are providing supportive services, which we cannot allow as part of rent using the federal dollars. So they're going to be doing laundry services and food services, much like what you would see in an assisted living type situation, and that's not allowable for us. So to provide those units for the caregivers who will meet the income criteria and therefore not have to get 3 buses to get to Solon to provide the care. The Home Consortium reviewed this matter and recommended to come back before this body.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank
Next
you.
item. Thank you.
Next item, BC 2023-80, Treasurer's Office recommend an award on RQ 11390 and enter into a contract with Midwest Presort Mailing Services Incorporated, DBA Midwest Direct, in the amount not to exceed $226,409 for the printing and mailing of real property tax bills in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 323.08, effective upon signatures of all parties through October 31st, 2025, for the following: second and third mailings of tax year 2022 paid in 2023, first, second, and third mailings for tax years 2023 and 2024 paid in 2024 and 2025.
Good morning, Ray McDaniel, Chief Deputy Treasurer. This is the production of our tax bills for about 560,000 parcels within Cuyahoga County, and this is going to cover the next 2.5 years of processing, mailing, and sending them out to the taxpayers.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Are there questions from the board? Councilman Miller, please.
Just a comment that I think it's a good strategy to enter into a long-term contract with a local company that we're very familiar with, and I know that the sending out of the tax bills did not go as smoothly this past time as it could have, and so I'm hoping that this new contract is going to bring about a visible improvement.
We have put some measures in place to make sure that the next couple of years go a lot smoother. We're looking into, for the first half of the tax year, we're looking into pushing back the collection date so that we can have enough time to get the tax rates from the state of Ohio, as well as process the tax bills, making sure that the print vendor has enough time to review the tax bills and then send them out to the taxpayers so that we can meet the Ohio Revised Code of giving them at least 20 days before they can to have the bills in their hands and then make that payment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, are there additional questions? Oh, sorry.
Now, is the intention to return to past practice of having the end of year mailing go out before the end of the year so that those people who want to pay prior to the end of the year for tax purposes are able to do so?
It's going to be rather challenging to get the bills out by mail by the end of the year because it depends on when we receive the tax rates. But what we're going to do instead is that we're going to allow the bills to be online. So any taxpayer can go online, review that bill, and then they can come in and make the payment before December 31st.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
If I could just make a small comment, I do believe we are one of the only counties to get it out this early in the state of Ohio. And
Yes.
in fairness, we do our best, and sometimes we get ourselves into a timeline that it's not our fault, but sometimes it is our fault. But anyways, you know, I think we'll see some improvement with this new company. Any additional questions? Mr. Mackler.
Good morning, Ray. We
morning,
used
Trevor.
to use Midwest Direct before, right, for the mailings. Our prior vendor was Midwest, right?
Yes, it was.
And we didn't have any data issues or anything with them, correct? Everything went well?
We did have some issues with them as well. We were able to resolve those issues a lot quicker than we were with PacWest.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've had some issues with them as well.
Okay, so, but we corrected those, right? I remember there was
Yeah.
something I thought, but I thought it was easily,
We corrected those. They are more familiar with our tax bills than the current company that we're using or this company that we used for the first half. And they understand and they realize from past experience all the nuances involved with our tax bills. So they are able to fix any problems or any issues or challenges that we may face a lot quicker than the other vendor, because the other vendor, again, that was their very first time in handling our tax bills.
was the reason we switched to PacWest from Midwest, was that because of pricing?
It was due to pricing as well as the fact that it was due to that they are a local vendor. The other company, when we signed a contract with them, we were informed that they were a local vendor. But we found out after the fact that we signed the contract that they did not have a print facility here, which they told us they did, but in actuality, they didn't.
They were out of state, right? Or where were they?
They were out of state, yes. And that's one of the reasons why we selected the vendor from the past.
Yeah.
It's because they're local and we've have experience with them.
So not to hone in on that, but Pac West, when they submitted their bid, they said they had a local printer here.
They said that they had a facility here.
A presence.
Or a business office here.
Thank you.
So we were under the assumption that they were able to produce the bills locally, but then we found out later that they could not.
Okay, any final questions on the item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2023-81, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Personnel Review Commission, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to MNJ Technologies Direct Incorporated and the amount not to exceed $5,896 for a state contract purchase of 4 HP ZBook Firefly mobile workstations, each to include HP CarePack hardware support, HP Absolute Data and Device Security for Education Professional, subscription license, and a 5-year extended warranty, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Janelle Green, Department of IT. This is a replacement purchase for the Personnel Review Commission of 4 mobile workstations. The licensing and support is a standard feature that we try to get on all of our laptop purchases.
Thank you, Janelle. Are there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-82, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Common Police Court Juvenile Court Division, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to MNJ Technologies Direct Incorporated and the amount not to exceed $17,460 for a state contract purchase of 10 HP ZBook Firefly mobile workstations, each to include HP CarePack hardware support, HP Absolute Data and Device Security for Education Professional subscription license, 5-year extended warranty, docking stations and monitors, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Janelle Green, Department of IT. Again, this is another purchase on behalf of Juvenile Court, replicating much of what was in the previous purchase order, but adding on docking stations and monitors for the users.
Thank you, Janelle. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-83, Department of Human Resources, submitting an amendment to a contract with the James B. Oswald Company for professional employee benefits consultant services for the period October 15, 2019 through April 15, 2023, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $172,000.
Stephen Witt with Human Resources. This is an amendment to our contract with Oswald. Oswald is our benefits consultant, and their staff helps supplement our benefits staff. They have the expertise to keep our benefits in line, keep our benefits in line with other organizations, and keep us in compliance with state, federal, and local rules. This amendment will extend us through the end of this year as we work on an RFP for the new benefits consultant contract, which we hope to have issued and awarded before the end of the year. But knowing our county's contracting process and potential delays, we elected to have this extension run through the end of the year. We can cancel it if we make that award earlier than we expected. The amount requested in this increase will bring us in line with the previous budgeted amounts for each year of this contract, though we don't expect to use all this. Annual expenditures for this contract have been about $150,000. But should we not award the new vendor before the end of the year, we have to start working on our major medical and prescription drug RFPs in which we need a lot of information from Oswald and then their input on writing that RFP. So we elected to go with the full amount just in case we need it.
Okay, Stephen, thank you. Is there questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Melanie Say. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-84, Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations Court Division, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to Justice Innovation Incorporated, DBA Center for Court Innovation, in the amount not to exceed $200,000 to provide project planning services for the development, implementation, and evaluation of the Parenting After Violence Curriculum Development Program for the period December 1st, 2022 through August 31st, 2024, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Susan Sweeney on behalf of the Domestic Relations Court. This is a project being funded under two separate grants. One is the State Justice Institute and one is the Ohio State Bar Foundation. The contract will be funded 100% through those granting entities to assist us in developing the PAVE program curriculum, which is a program to help parents that are going through divorce that have a history of domestic violence in their background learn how to successfully be taught how to successfully co-parent after violence. Any questions?
Thank you, Susan. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Councilman.
Once this curriculum is developed, how do you intend that it'll be used, and how will the cost of the program be paid for?
Right, so the program will be used initially simply in Cuyahoga County. We will make that available to any of the courts in Cuyahoga County that would like to use it. We are going to be partnering with the Supreme Court of Ohio as well to offer presentations and make it available to other courts in Ohio. While we don't know, there is suggestion that nationally this might become a program of interest, and to fund, what we'll need would be to have co-facilitators. We have our first co-facilitator funded through the Ohio State Bar Foundation grant. And we'll seek additional funding, and depending then on the number of participants that we have, might be come a time in the future we would have to contract for that cost. I would tell you it's an hourly rate, it's de minimis, approximately $8,000 a year to fund and several of those sessions. We anticipate at this point there'll be 26-week program sessions.
So it costs a fair amount of money to develop the curriculum. It's $200,000 funded by two grants, but once you get the curriculum prepared, it's not going to cost all that much to run the program on an ongoing basis. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Are there additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-85, Sheriff's Department recommend an award and enter into a purchase order with the Metro Health System in the amount not to exceed $400,000 for reimbursement of litigation and claims expenses for jail operations for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023.
Chris Cossum, Sheriff's Department. We're requesting approval of a not-to-exceed purchase order with Metro Health Systems. This is to reimburse Metro Health for litigation and claims expenses incurred through jail operations.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Questions from the board?
Yes. Is this amount an estimate of how much you expect will be incurred? How is the actual cost determined?
This is based on an estimate. Last year, our PO was $296,000 what we spent. We still have another $32,000 to pay off that PO, so we just estimate around $400,000.
And I presume that we would pay off of it, actual expenses identified and incurred, so it might actually be less than the $400,000, or conceivably it could be more, in which case you'd have to come back for a contract amendment. Is that correct?
That is correct. We do receive invoices based on actual costs, and then we have either law department or prosecutor sign off on the invoice.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Are there additional? Mr. Mackler.
Morning, Chris. This might be for our law director, but could you remind me when we are responsible to reimburse them for expenses, if it's something that Metro Health does wrong on their own, sheriff or the administration wasn't involved in anything, do we still cover those expenses if we get sued, or is it only when we're both getting sued, or what? Greg, could you speak to
Yeah,
when we're?
Mr. Chairman, the Councilman, it's basically it's the latter. It's when, because these are the claims that still arise from those situations where these nurses were employed by us. So we're still resolving some of those claims. And then this is just the deductible that we're paying here. This isn't, there's an insurance policy that covers most of this. The deductible is up to like 25 grand right now, so this is to cover the deductible.
But under our new contract with Metro, we still are responsible for some of the
Yes.
litigation costs, right?
Yes, yes. Mhm.
Same type of process?
Yes. Mhm.
So is this 400,000 for ones prior to 2018 or 19, or?
This is for the ones that are, yeah, still prior to 2018, yeah.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
we're working our way down.
Yeah.
I think this is, like you said, we had like almost 300,000 last year, and it wasn't quite enough, but we're still working them down, because like I said, the deductible is about 25 grand on these.
Thank you.
Follow-up.
Please, Councilman.
So, as we work through these old cases, do we expect that this amount is going to go down going forward, and that under the new system, we're not going to have nearly as much as we did under the old system?
That's correct, Councilman, yeah, yes.
And how soon do you expect we would get to that point where we would have pretty much cleared out the old cases under the old system? And
I don't want to speculate on that offhand. I'd have to talk to the prosecutor's office about how many of these cases are still hanging out there. I can get that information for you.
so it sounds like you're talking a few years yet, at least.
Well, again, I don't want to speculate. It's maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep our eyes on it.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-87, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, recommend an award on RQ 1068 and enter into a contract for Precision Mobile Laundry Service LLC in the amount not to exceed $20,000 for laundry services for the Cuyahoga Options for Independent Living Services Program clients, effective upon signatures of all parties through December 31st, 2023.
Did we skip one?
Did we skip one?
86.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. We'll go back to 86 then. Next item, BC 2023-86, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with the Center for Community Solutions for fiscal agent and management services, including preparing and releasing an issue brief and year-end report for the Council on Older Persons for the period January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $25,000.
Good morning, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services. On behalf of Senior and Adult Services, again, this is a contract amendment with the Centers for Community Solutions to support the operations of the Council on Older Persons, or the COOP as we call it, and to support research in the needs of older adults in Cuyahoga County. The COOP is a committee of community solutions whose mission is to promote a better understanding of aging and address the issues and concerns of older persons through a citizen-led process. Also, this contract, Community Solutions will prepare and release an issue brief on the impact higher cost, inflation, and post-pandemic loss of rescue dollars will have on seniors. And lastly, they will help collaborate on an event in June on HIV in the senior population.
Thank you, Marcos. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Mackler. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-87, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, recommend an award on RQ 1068 and enter into a contract with Precision Mobile Laundry Service LLC in the amount not to exceed $20,000 for laundry services for the Cuyahoga Options for Independent Living Services program clients, effective upon signature of all parties through December 31st, 2023. We're also correcting the funding source from general fund to Health and Human Services levy fund.
Good morning again, Marcos Cortez, Health and Human Services, on behalf of Senior and Adult Services. This is a contract for laundry services for seniors through our options program. Typically, laundry tasks have been completed by home health aides during the time they are working in the client's homes. However, since COVID, there has been a shortage of personnel to provide home health and nursing assistance. In addition, some clients are uncomfortable in allowing aides to enter their home. So we issued an informal bid to pilot this project to provide these needed laundry services to persons who feel uncomfortable or until we can get somebody in their home to provide these services. The bid, we only received one response.
Okay, thank you, Marcos. Is there questions from the board?
Yes. Since we only received one response, how do we know that the price is reasonable?
So we did ask for a pricing sheet to look at what we were getting. We didn't have anything else to compare it to. It seemed reasonable. Hugh did give us his cost per pound for laundry services, which is about $2.50 per pound. Our is about $1.65 per pound. However, we have some extras related to this because they're going to the client's home, picking up, transporting it back to them once it's done. So there's a mileage fee included in that. There's also rates for potential contamination with like bed bugs. So there's an increase related to that. And also we got pricing for comforters for, different sizes, king, queens, twins. So everything at least appeared to us to look reasonable. We did set this at an up to amount of $20,000. So we'll see if this is something that's going to be utilized fully, or if we, might need to make changes and maybe do a larger formal RFP to potentially get more providers.
Okay.
Okay, any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the item as amended for the funding source to HHS levy funds. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to consent.
Consent agenda items are BC 2023-88 through BC 2023-91.
Hey, board members, there's only a couple items. Please let me know if you got any questions. Mr. Mackler, please.
Chair, I just have a question on the skill up item. If anyone's here.
We do.
Or, thanks for Lori answered the advanced questions. With this company just being outside of Cuyahoga County, how did we get connected with them in the sense that they knew the skill up program existed? And we narrowed it down to it had to be county residents that received the training, but I'm just curious how the nursing home became aware that we even offer this, being outside of the county.
Sure. Vaughn Johnson, Department of Development. When Anna Marie came on board, that was prior to my tenure here, but they still fall within the parameters of how the Skill Up program works. Either the company or their staff has to be part of Cuyahoga County. I know recently we've reached out to a number of organizations through our marketing and business development efforts, so we're starting to see more organizations that are outside of Cuyahoga County, but their staff is inside Cuyahoga County to take advantage of the program.
So we don't know how this particular one came about.
I can find out.
Would you, if you can?
Sure,
figure
I'd be
that out.
happy
I'm curious
to.
see how, you've been here for a while now, so I'm curious, even prior to you, how that came about.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Well, seeing none, then I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda items as listed. Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Seconded by, a bunch of people.
Thank you.
Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on to other business.
Other business, we have one-time sense of mission critical item. Item BC 2023-92. Office of the Medical Examiner recommend an award and enter into a purchase order with Gentech Scientific LLC in the amount not to exceed $17,100 for repairs and one preventative maintenance visit on the Thermo TSQ Vantage LC MS system.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there questions? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve today's item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Do we
Okay,
have
we need to go back to the review minutes
the review minutes? Okay.
and to make a vote for the February 6th.
Oh, we didn't
2023.
approve them?
No, we
don't
skipped
think we
them.
did.
Oh,
No,
I
we
do
skipped them.
apologize. Thank you.
I move to approve the minutes.
We got a moved. Seconded by Councilman Turner. All in favor to approve the minutes from February 6th, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item was approved. Catching my mistake there. Okay. We have no other business?
No other business.
Okay, I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor to adjourn, say aye. Aye.